Hello, my name is David Powell. I will soon be running the two-day high-performance leadership workshop for IIR, and I'm here with the General Manager of IIR, Jeff Hearn, and he's going to ask some questions of me about why should you consider coming to this 2 days and investing your precious time and money. Before Jeff says anything, what I would like to say is, you look out the window, we can see that we're in times of uncertainty. Nobody knows how the Greek debt crisis will play out, but we do know we're in uncertain times, arguably as uncertain as any of us have ever seen. So what I would say is the reason why I would urge you to come and spend 2 days with us is because the tools you will learn will help you as a leader and a manager handle that uncertainty and, if you like, pick the opportunities which are out there, the ridges of profit and revenue, and avoid the swamps and the bad mistakes. So Jeff, would you like to ask some questions please of me, and I'll do my best to answer them so the guys can understand what we'll be doing.
Brilliant. Thanks, David. I mean, one thing I'd like to focus on, obviously, the course is called High Performance Leadership, but in a way that title's a little bit misleading as you cover so much more than just leadership, don't you?
Yes, it's what I would say to that. There are 4 P's that the workshop bases around. Purpose, where you're heading or where you got to head in these uncertain times. Passion, your passion as a leader and a manager and the people on the team. Plans, once you decided where you're going to go, how you're going to get there. And then this 4th P, which I think is the key this time around, is persistence. As it gets turbulent, as it is, how are you going to handle staying the course, and how are you going to encourage your people to stay uptone and motivated? So that's probably what I would say, Jeff. And the other thing I would say in terms of passion, I focus to give you those internal strengths as a leader and manager, because in my experience the hardest thing is to think for yourself. Like, we all watch the television and we hear the news and we read the newsprint, and it can be at times a bit daunting. I know senior executives who are really daunted, but what I need you to do is to anchor in yourself and have the tools so that when people look to you, you can say, guys, yes, there is uncertainty, but this is how we're going to go forward. And it's coming almost out of the core of your intent down here in the solar plexus, not necessarily out of the head or out of the heart.
And David, obviously businesses all over the globe are facing unique challenges, and some of these challenges we haven't seen before, and the old solutions to problems are not really cutting it. What would you say are some of the steps we can take to improve our chances of overcoming these really challenging times? Yeah,
it's a good question. I'm here in London with Jeff. I was on the phone at 5 AM this morning with a client in Australia who's just lost 30% of their revenue stream. And what I said to them is, look, the first key is to go from purpose to vision. You know that people remember faces and not names. So one of the first things we do is get a graphical representation. What does success look like for you and your team on the horizon, out there in the future? Because once you've got a vision of success out on the horizon, and it's not cuckoo land obviously, but it's got to be challenging and achievable, then it's easier to keep your eye on that success horizon. When you feel seasick out at sea, they don't tell you to look at the bottom of the boat or the waves. They tell you to look at the horizon, because that's the stable data point. So the first point, Jeff, is if you're going to navigate uncertain times, get really, really clear where we're trying to get to.
And what would you say that makes your approach to training so unique and so relevant in these challenging times?
Yes, good. Well, one thing I would say, don't come to the 2 days if you expect case studies. In my humble opinion, case studies are what happened for somebody somewhere in the past. What I'm much more interested in is in the generalized principles of leadership and management that will work for you anywhere at any time. So the way I do this, clearly some of the time I'll be presenting the principles to you around purpose and vision, around passion and around plans, because I've found that it's far easier once you're out in the future with your vision to come back in time from that agreed future horizon than ever it is to try and plan forward in time. That's too hard. And once I've shown you keys of how to center inside so you've got that persistence, then we can do what I would call facilitation. So you bring up the issues that you've got in your business, and then we can use the tools, or you and I or you and the team can use the tools so that when you go back the morning after the 2-day workshop, you have absolute clarity on what you've got to do, how you've got to do it, what might come at you, so that you are so much more empowered and stronger than when you showed up a brief 2 days previously.
And I think that's one of the key points, David, isn't it? I mean, your training and your facilitation style is all centered around giving people practical tools that they can use. You know, there's not just theory. You know, this is stuff that can get people through some of the worst challenges we face as business.
Well, that's right. I mean, if you think about I had proper jobs in the oil and gas industry and the IT industry, but I've been doing this work for 20 years now. And in that time, I've been in over 500 companies on 25 countries and 5 continents. So I can show you what people are, the tools and approaches and techniques that people around the world are using, and you can take the 20 years and 500 companies it's taken me to collect and synthesize this information. You can take it away after 2 days and rip straight into it the following morning.
And David, what would be your advice to anyone thinking about attending the workshop, but they're unsure whether or not it's right for them?
Yeah, good question. Look, what I would say is, where any industry, any sector you're in, trust me, it's uncertain times. And so if you want your own career to succeed and be optimum, and if you want to be able to stand firm when other people around you are wobbling, then I would say 2 days of the rest of your life journey is a very, very minor investment. And at best, you're going to be able to say, I knew all that. But you may just say, hey, I am so glad I spent the day with David and the other people on the workshop, because I'm so much clearer. And for 2 days, I've now got X years ahead of me, and I know what to do. Okay? If you don't come, you'll never know. And it's my confidence, having worked with thousands of people, from senior executive to staff, that you will never, ever regret giving me the 2 days of your time. So I really look forward to meeting you and working with you. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for your time, David.
You're welcome. Thank you.